Well guys, the time has now come where you don't need to remortgage your house anymore to buy a single share of Amazon or Shopify stock, because just yesterday, Wealthsimple Trade announced the launch of a brand new feature to their already highly popular commission-free trading platform, being fractional shares. Now, if there's one thing that Wealthsimple is good at other than offering Canadians an easy and simple way to invest their funds in the stock market, it's their branding. I mean, just take a look at how cool this launch page is for the new fractional shares feature. They've got like a prism bursting up into, well, fractional shares actually of the original prism, and that's a pretty good visual depiction actually of what fractional shares really are to a given stock. Straight off the bat, think of a fractional share as the ability to purchase a fraction of one single share of a company. So instead of having to drop, say, $1,500 to buy a single share of Shopify stock, well, you can buy, say, a tenth of Shopify for around $150. So with this in mind, the stock's overall value does not change. It's just that now you have access to a smaller portion of that same stock, making it a lot more accessible for the average investor. Now, over the past couple of months, Wealthsimple Trade has been slowly releasing features that we as users have been highly requesting and also anticipating, with fractional shares being one of these features. So it is definitely nice to see Wealthsimple rolling out some of these features that we as users have been requesting. And from here though, Wealthsimple, if you're watching, which I know you are, USD accounts. Anyways, fractional shares is still a pretty cool feature, and so we're going to first start off with speaking about what this really entails for users, and then from there we're going to be jumping into my own investment account to purchase some fractional shares and see how this all works in the Wealthsimple Trade platform. And by the way, if you want to access fractional shares yourself and follow along, then make sure to check out the Wealthsimple Trade link down in the description, where if you use that link, you'll get $25 for free when you sign up and fund your account with a minimum of $100. So with that said, let's get right into it. So in the company's news release, there's lots of text. If you want to read it, go to the website and have a blast. But really what we're after is this section right here, where it says that fractional shares will only be available for 14 stocks to begin with, as they're rolling out this feature, being the following stocks. In the Canadian market, we've got 4 of them, being TD Bank, Shopify, Royal Bank of Canada, as well as Canadian National Railway. And then for the American market, we've got 10 stocks, being Nvidia, Coinbase, Airbnb, Tesla, Netflix, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Google, and Amazon. Basically all of the FANG stocks plus a couple others like Nvidia, which is trading at all-time highs right now. So at a total of 14 stocks available for fractional share purchasing right now, with 4 Canadian ones, this is definitely quite limited, and I would have liked to see some other larger and more expensive companies be available on the Canadian market, like for example Constellation Software and others of that nature that are trading in the multiple hundred or even $1,000 range, but I'm sure they're going to be rolling out more as time progresses. This is definitely better than nothing though, and for now it seems like Wealthsimple is first targeting highly traded American tech stocks that do have that multiple $1,000 stock price, like for example the Amazons as well as the Googles, which are trading for well above $2,000-$3,000 per share. And in reality, those are pretty much the most important stocks to have included in the fractional share program, because otherwise they can be pretty much out of reach to most investors. And if you were looking to buy fractional shares of, say, MindMed, well, you should probably be reassessing your savings before investing in the stock market. I'm joking, but not really. Interestingly though, something we recently spoke about on the channel is the fact that some companies will tend to split their stock at a certain price range. For example, when it reaches the likes of an Amazon or a Shopify, in order to increase the stock's liquidity and trading volume, therefore allowing more individuals to enter into the playing field for purchasing their stock. But since these companies haven't gone through with this as of right now, at least, well, fractional shares are a great tool to utilize if you still want to be investing individually into these companies. Now, further down in the press release, they speak about how one of the main reasons they have decided to launch fractional shares is because they believe this will help investors further diversify their investment portfolios. Because again, if you don't have thousands of dollars to put into one stock, this now allows you to at least access a portion of that stock. And yes, this is absolutely an advantage of fractional shares, because if you have, say, a portfolio with a relatively low balance, or actually even a high balance, for example, if you have a $100,000 stock market portfolio and you own 2 shares of Amazon, you're looking at almost 7% of your entire portfolio being allocated to this one single stock. That might be something that you are comfortable with or not, but regardless, fractional shares allows you a lot more leeway in how you're splitting up your funds allocated within your portfolio. And going even further on this point, fractional shares allows even better dollar cost averaging into these higher priced stocks, because even if you do save up over time enough to buy, say, 1 share of Amazon, well, you're getting in at one single price point, versus fractional shares could allow you to invest each couple of weeks or each month into Amazon stock at various different price points, thus further allowing you to dollar cost average into these positions. So that is definitely another advantage. And finally, combined with commission-free trading on Wealthsimple Trade, this is just awesome for users, because otherwise, let's say on another platform that were to potentially offer fractional shares at, say, a $5 or $10 commission, well, it would never make any sense to buy, say, $100 worth of Shopify or Amazon stock, and then you're paying a $10 commission, which would be 10% right off the bat. So combined with $0 commissions, this really puts the power into the investor's hands. All right, so let's now go ahead and jump into the Wealthsimple Trade platform so we can see how this works firsthand. So right now we're looking at this personal account, this new personal account that I had created for the other video that I was speaking about, where YouTube is going to be choosing my stocks for this new portfolio. And I know what you're thinking, why is it still just at $1,000 balance? We haven't actually started this series yet, and if you do want to join, make sure to go check out that other video and comment some stocks down below that we could buy. However, the reason why I hadn't started is because, well, seeing these fractional shares coming out, I decided to delay this by a couple of days, around a week or so, because now we can access so many more stocks that before would not necessarily have been accessible. So let's take a look though. All right, so the list was, what were some of the companies? TD and like Shopify. So let's go ahead and search. Oh, well, look at that, right? We have fractional shares, fractional trading as a new category when you go in the research platform, or the search platform, I should say, within Wealthsimple Trade. So let's click on view all of these stocks, and we're now looking at all 14 of these companies, 10 of them being American and 5 being Canadian. For the sake of this video, let's just look at a Canadian one. We'll go with Shopify, that is trading right now at around $1,831 per share. I actually also have Wealthsimple, the premium functionality here, so I can update the price in real time. But if that's not something you have, not to worry. So one thing I'm seeing right off the bat that's different, we have this fractional share, this pie chart up here beside the name, which is essentially indicating to us that this is a company that we can buy fractional shares in. And if you click on that, it says fractional trading available. Great. All right, so let's go ahead and try to buy some of this. All right, we're gonna buy it, yes, in the personal account, let's say. And up here, okay, so we have the market buy. Now, okay, you can select fractional shares as an order type instead of before you only had access to market buy, limit, and stop limit buy. Now there's this new feature being fractional buy. All right, so what value of shop do you want to buy in your personal account? So here, instead of selecting the amount of shares you want to buy, instead you're putting the amount of money that you want to put up to then purchase some of that stock in question. So in this case, let's say $210. All right, so at $210, it's saying shop price right now is $1,835. And since we have $1,000 available to trade, we're good on that front. And the estimated quantity is 0.1144 shares that you would be purchasing with $210. What's the max though? Okay, so if you put too much, 2,000. All right, so you can buy more than one fractional share, but if you put, let's say 21,000 here, fractional orders cannot be more than 10 times greater than the share price. All right, that makes sense. So you basically cannot buy more than 10 shares at a time through fractional trading. That makes sense, I guess. Doesn't really matter. And then the minimum would be how much? Can you put less than $1? All right. enter an amount greater than $1. So $1 is pretty much the lowest that you can go, and this would purchase 0.0005 shares of Shopify stock. This is kind of similar to actually if you're buying cryptocurrency, where you're putting the amount that you want to invest, and then it is going to reflect an actual amount of the coin in question. Basically the exact same thing here. Moving on from here though, just because I find it somewhat funny to buy $1 worth of Shopify, let's choose that as our selection. So I'm going to click on continue, and then it brings you to the pre-confirmation page. So confirm purchase $1 Canadian worth of Shopify stock. Estimated number of shares, again, 0.0005, and then the commission $0 as we would expect with Wealthsimple Trade. But there is this one sort of little banner here that says this order will be filled at the end of the trading day. So that is one thing that is interesting here that I did sort of realize, is that you can't essentially put a limit order or any other type of order when you're doing a fractional share buy. This is going to be a market order basically at the time of when you submit your order, but it's only going to fill once a day at market open at the end of the day. So over a long-term investing plan, not really a big deal at all. However, if you are looking to buy fractional shares and you're trading on a more short-term time frame in the day, for example, well, the amount of shares that you're actually purchasing on a fractional basis could definitely differ when it does go ahead and fill. So definitely do be aware of that. With that said, let's go ahead and confirm this order. $1 worth of Shopify stock. That's ridiculous. All right, so order send, fractional buy of $1. Let's view the details. All right, yeah, it's still pending because, like I said, it's going to be at the end of the day. So I'm assuming at the end of the trading day at around 4 p.m. or so, this is going to fill, and then I'll get an email and a confirmation for that. Done. All right, yeah, so, and now if you go back, it says your portfolio, you have one pending order. If I click on that, fractional buy, there you go. So it's going to fill at the end of the day. I guess I can cancel that order if I don't want to go through with that anymore. So all in all, the addition of this new fractional share feature is definitely advantageous, and it's something that I do like to see Wealthsimple continuing to improve their platform and adding new functionality. At 14 stocks right now, it is somewhat limited, but it's still a really good start, and over time, I am almost certain they're going to continue rolling out more companies that you can buy fractional shares of. But let's now cover a couple things to keep in mind. First of all, trades for fractional shares are only executed once per day at the end of the trading day, and with this in mind, you're not able to put a limit price for what you want to either buy or sell your shares for. This will basically be a market order. However, when you do make the order, as we saw earlier, you will get an estimated market price for at the time of when you put the order and execute it. However, I am assuming that since this is a market order that will be filled near the end of the day, shares could differ somewhat from what you're expecting. However, if you're looking to use fractional shares for a longer term investment strategy, at the end of the day, this really won't matter all too much. Let's now talk about dividends, because this is something that I definitely asked myself when I first heard about these fractional shares for Wealthsimple Trade. How do dividend payments work if you are buying, for example, a quarter of a TD stock? And it's really simple. Essentially, if you buy a quarter of TD or RBC stock, you will receive a quarter of the dividends on that quarterly schedule. It's basically the exact same thing as if you're buying a full share. You're getting that fractional weighted dividend in the amount that you hold of that stock. All of this to say that if you want to try out fractional trading for yourself, then make sure to check out Wealthsimple Trade using the link down below, and you'll get some free money for signing up. This is definitely a feature that I think is appealing to quite a few retail investors, and I'm really excited to continue seeing what Wealthsimple continues to roll out in the near future. By the way, if you do want me to continue making these quick little updates on what Wealthsimple is releasing, let me know down in the comments. And with that said, now that fractional shares are available on Wealthsimple, we're going to be rolling out that new portfolio series as of next week and potentially include some fractional trading in there. So definitely make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video and you want to be updated with new videos in the future about stock market investing. And if you enjoyed the video, all I ask in return is that you give it a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. On that note, thanks a lot for watching today's quick video, and I will see you in the next one.